I'm Anna,
And I'm Fran.
and you're listening to Murder Words. Welcome back to Murder Words. Okay, so I switched my story again. I did this one I always do that. I have
You always
I start so
do.
many, and then it's the one that I'm vibing with the most.
Does it
the
just
one I go with.
lead you to other ones?
I guess so. I don't know what the deal is with that, but this one, we're going to the land down under. I've been waiting to say
Australia?
that. I wrote that.
Is it
So I could-
Australia?
yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure. I was like,
Yep.
I was
I
like-
actually planned on saying that with an accent in my mind, but
I wish you would have.
the land down. I don't know how to do it. Land. I don't.
That was really far off. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm not good at accents.
Do that. Try again.
Going to the land down under.
Okay, the end maybe, but the first part sounds British.
I know I mix them up. I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna go over Katherine Knight.
Ooh, who's that?
She was the first person to get life in prison in Australia.
Oh, okay.
And it was pretty recent, so that kind of shocked me.
They don't usually do life in prison?
She was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
so-
weird because didn't they originally start out as like a colony of criminals and then they
Oh, I don't know.
yeah, they were like where they sent all the criminals to.
I feel like I heard before that it was one of the safest places to be. Like crime-wise, but I don't know if that's true. I just heard that.
I don't know that
I
either.
feel like that it's the least safe place to be for animals
Oh.
and bugs and
Crocodiles.
tarantulas and snakes. Have you seen them? I'll
No.
have to show you after this. It's
Have you ever
terrifying.
seen a kangaroo? Like in person?
Dude, they're so cute.
They're so cute and they really do hump in that little pouch.
Yeah,
It's
but that's
adorable.
the only.
I know they're mean, but
They're mean.
in my mind, yeah,
they'll
kangaroos
punch
are
you
mean.
or kick you or whatever.
That sounds mean.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's get to the story.
Okay.
All right, so we're down under.
Down under. Wow. Okay. So, Katherine Knight, she was born October 24th, 1955, in Tenterfield, New South Wales. Her childhood was literally the worst. Awful. So she comes from a town called Aberdeen, and it's all about coal, cattle, and meat. So super country.
Okay.
Butcher shops is what it's known for. Everyone worked at one. It was the thing to do. You strive to work at butcher shop.
Okay.
People would just go to school as long as they could until they were able to go work at the butcher shop. Kind of like here with the coal mines.
Right. Okay, I
You
can see
a
that.
lot of people. Yeah, so that's kind of how I put it in my mind. In the 1940s, we're going back to her parents.
I was gonna say,
now.
okay.
Yeah. The manager of the Aberdeen Meat Works was Jack Roan. Jack was married to a woman named Barbara. Altogether, they had 4 sons. Soon, a huge scandal broke out. Barbara had an affair with another meat worker named Ken Knight.
Oh.
Yeah, this was a super small town, so everyone knew about it, everyone was talking about it. The Knights and the Roans were well known because of this affair. And of course, Barbara and Jack Roan were no longer a thing after this.
Okay.
She cheated on him.
Right.
2 of their sons stayed with their father, Jack, and the other 2 were just randomly shipped off to Sydney to live with an aunt.
What is it? That seems like it's a really common thing back
I
then.
don't know. They were just see ya. I don't know. We can't handle all of you, so.
Like the
bye.
families break up and then relatives take a group of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's so weird.
So the new guy, Ken, and Barbara, they had 4 children of their own.
So she had 8 kids.
8 kids. They had 2 boys and 2 girls. The girls, Catherine and Joy, were twins.
Oh.
I hate that their names don't start with the same letter.
I know.
Catherine and Joy. That doesn't
Catherine
even
and George.
That doesn't even make
Or
sense.
Catherine and what?
Joy.
Catherine
which
and
is really
Joy.
also ironic for this story because it is
Oh.
not filled with joy.
Oh, okay.
So, Catherine was born 30 minutes after Joy. When they were 4, Their mom's ex-husband, Jack, passed away.
Okay.
When this happened, the 2 boys that lived with him moved in with them.
Okay.
So now there were 6 kids in that house. Catherine's dad, Ken, was a raging alcoholic. He was like extremely physically and mentally abusive. He would beat their mother in front of them, like so much so that it was normal. Like she would just walk around with like black eyes and bruises all over her, and they were just like it was normal to them because they grew up like seeing that so much.
Right.
They didn't think twice about it. He would Ken, their dad, would also rape Barbara, their mom, up to 10 times a day, and sometimes in front of the children.
Oh my God.
So they're definitely,
With some trauma.
yeah, big time. It's never said that he sexually abused the kids, but Katherine does say that her half-brothers sexually abused her until she was 11. And other family members and psychiatrists have backed this claim up.
Okay.
Catherine's mom would tell her, and like her and the other kids, about her like sex life, like details about her sex life. Ew.
Why?
I don't know why. But her mom, Barbara, is awful.
Really? Okay.
Hideous. Yeah. And she would tell them like how much she hates sex. Told her mom that like this dude she was seeing wanted to do something sexually that she wasn't comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
She was like telling her mom about that, and her mom said, quote, "Put up with it and stop complaining." Such motherly advice. It is also said that her mother was extremely physically abusive too, and obviously
Right.
emotionally, because
Just that sentence.
stop it, Barbara. Yeah.
Just that sentence enough.
Basically, she's awful. So Katherine had a hard time making friends in school. She was described as fairly pleasant, but someone who had extreme episodes of rage over minor incidents.
Okay.
So
Fairly pleasant.
I was
With
confused
rage.
with that too. Like fairly pleasant, I guess, as long as you didn't like do something small around her. Just walk on eggshells all the time.
Right. Your face didn't make that
Then
face.
she was nice.
She was okay with it.
As she got older, she was then seen as a bully. There are reports that she assaulted a boy with a weapon, and also there was an incident where she was injured by a teacher, but the teacher was acting in self-defense.
Oh, she just beat up a teacher?
So, yeah, that was all it said. I don't know what she did, but, I mean, if a teacher has to, like, take action, like, she was injured from the teacher taking action against her.
And I'm sure the teacher did not want to. They were
Yeah.
like...
So she
It
was...
just got to that point.
Yeah. And I do think, too, like, with being a bully, like, I think people are hurting people before they get hurt.
Yes.
So I think she's kind of taking on this, like, I have to be tough because that's how she was, like, had to be
my
growing
household.
up kind
Yes.
of thing. She ended up dropping out of school at 15.
Wow, so that was before 15.
Oh, yeah, this was all before 15. She could barely read or write at this time, and still, like, throughout her life, she could barely read or write. Her goal, of course, was to work at the slaughterhouse like her brothers, parents, grandparents. She came from a long line of...
Butchers.
butchers.
Okay.
That sounds better than I was going to say slaughterhouse
People.
So,
Some butchers. Okay.
this, like we said, was the ultimate goal. She initially got a job as a cutter at a clothing factory. So she didn't get hired straight into the
factory.
yeah.
Okay.
She worked there for a year, and then she landed her dream job at the local slaughterhouse.
Do they just pay well? Like,
I don't know, but it was called, on everything I saw, I guess in Australia they call it abattoir.
Abattoir.
Abattoir. I had to literally Google what that. I was like, what is
Abattoir.
that? And it means like slaughterhouse.
Oh.
So she started out in the offal room.
Stop it.
OFFAL. Not awful.
Oh,
But I did put awful in parentheses so I can remember to say it that way.
Okay.
So this is a room where you cut up animal organs and entrails, which is just another word for the innards, what we call it. Like you're just they get like the prime meats out, and then they send the rest to the offal room for them to like
hot
kinda cut
dogs.
off. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's real,
Yep.
like hot dogs.
Within 6 months, she was promoted to a boner. I died.
An awful, and then you go to the boner?
100% died. Because she literally is a boner in real life. She's the worst. But this means that she worked in the... I just thought it was all one thing. I've never, like, seen the process, but I didn't know there were, like, separate rooms and, like, different...
Processing techniques?
I didn't know that. This is like
okay, I should probably back myself up right now because I'm like, ew. But these are people's livelihoods. Like, these are, like, legit jobs people have.
Literally, I go to the farmer's market every weekend and get meat from one of the local, like, butchers because I feel like it's, like, we're supporting them. So... But I never really think about what happens up to that point.
Yes.
Now I'm going to.
You should.
So
you could ask them about their boner room.
So when she got that promotion, she was given her own set of butcher knives. This was like a huge deal to her. Like this was like her pride and joy. Mm-hmm. So she hung these butcher knives above her bed. Yeah. And then like she had them with her at all times. And when people asked her like, what is that? Like, why do you have these? She was like, in case I ever need them.
For a boning emergency?
For a boning emergency. Catherine, stop being creepy.
That is very, like, above her bed. Okay.
I just feel like if someone was walking around with, like, a bunch of butcher knives, we'd be like, sir, are you in danger? Like, why are you carrying these knives?
Have you recently been to the awful room? Or...
Stop. Are you a boner?
Are you a boner right now?
Her co-workers started to get a little freaked out by her because she would apparently stand there and like watch them kill animals.
Oh.
They apparently like slit the throats of the animals to kill them quickly. And at first they were like, okay, like she probably just wants to learn. She's a good worker.
Towards advancement.
Yeah, maybe this is the next step and she's just trying. But then they were like, I think she enjoys this. Like she's been watching for a really long time.
Right. The same technique of slitting an animal's throat.
Yeah. And so they were all starting to kind of get weird vibes from her. Then she was able to butcher the animals herself, but instead of killing them quickly like she was supposed to, she would cut their artery so they would slowly bleed out and have a long death.
Oh my God. I hate her already.
So, yeah, she's really enjoying her time as a butcher. She's liking the pain, I think, and like the death that she's seeing. She ended up meeting a man at work. His name was David Kellett. So we're going to go through, she has 4 relationships that we're going to go through.
Okay.
It's a big thing for her. He was also a raging alcoholic. She was much taller than him. In fact, she was said to be a large woman. Not like fat, but just like
stocky?
A big, just like very strong, very... Have you seen The House Bunny? Remember that movie?
Yes.
Do you remember when they're in the bar, that scene with the girl who's like, I need to go drop a whatever she says? That's who I imagine.
Okay.
When I see her.
You know when I think of strong, sturdy women? You know what I think of? I think like they were like fought over in prairie times because like their stoutness to pull an ox, and then like their birthing hips. Like I always think that they were...
Or like Miss Trenchbull from Matilda.
That too, yes.
So,
or the Handmaid's Tale woman.
Yes.
Handmaid's Tale woman.
Oh my gosh, yes. What's her name?
Aunt Lydia.
Okay.
It's Aunt Lydia.
So we have a lot of visions for you guys to be thinking
we have
about.
an Aunt Lydia in the house.
Yes. So it was said that David was Catherine's first sexual partner. A couple of times when David was drunk out at a bar or something, he would like get into fights, and immediately Catherine would be like behind him with her fists like ready to back him up.
Okay.
She was known around town as a fighter. Like all the way from back when she was a bully, like people
she was
knew.
Stout. Like she could hold her own probably.
People knew like don't mess with her, like, or anyone she knows, because she's gonna fight you. Watch out for her, she's a boner.
She's known to carry her boning knives.
At Catherine's request or demand, however you want to look at it, they got married.
Oh.
Apparently at lunch one day, like at work, she was just like, hey, we're getting married, like announced it. So David basically had no choice.
Like he's like, okay, I guess so.
They arrived at their wedding on a motorcycle just blasted, like super drunk. Just like barely remember it. At the wedding, Catherine's mother, Barbara, remember Barbara, just that little Jim, gave David some advice. She said, quote, "You better watch this one or she'll fucking kill you.
Oh my God.
Stir her up the wrong way or do the wrong thing and you're fucked. Don't ever think of playing up on her. She'll fucking kill you. She's got a loose screw somewhere." End quote.
That mom.
Yeah. I will say though, when Brian and I first got together, my sister told him, "She will drag you down so fast."
Oh my God, Anna.
That's what she said.
Anna,
So.
can we talk about that? That sounds actually very traumatizing as a person.
I just went with it. He brings it up sometimes though.
I think I would too.
He's like, "This is the time your sister told me about." On their wedding night, David got his first glimpse of crazy Catherine.
Ooh.
He woke up to her strangling him.
The night.
No big deal. Wedding night.
The wedding night, she woke up to him strangling him.
Yes. Her explanation, he fell asleep after only having sex 3 times. She wanted to have sex 5 times, like her mom did on her wedding night. But Catherine, stop.
She needs to stop it
That's
right now.
disgusting. And 3 times.
And
He's probably, that's a lot.
He was drunk too. Like, they were wasted.
Yeah, dude, like, come on.
Stop it, Catherine.
Wow. Okay. Their marriage really was not a happy one.
No shit.
Obviously. It was super violent and had a lot of problems. David was not faithful. He had, like, girlfriends on the side and stuff. One night, David was out too late. I put that in quotes. Mm-hmm. He was out playing in a dart competition. He was doing really well, ended up making it to the finals. So I don't know if he won or not.
What kind of competition was this?
Dart.
Dart. I thought you said,
like at the...
like the
Yeah,
bar.
like,
dart.
yeah.
Okay. I thought you said dirt. I was like, how did they play that in the butcher land?
So it took longer than normal for him to get home. Mm-hmm. I guess she had a curfew for him. I don't know. At this time, she was like super pregnant. Like she was, they were about to have a child. Before he made it home, she burned all of his clothes. And then when he arrived home, she hit him in the head with a frying pan, like off of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like an actual cartoon.
Wow.
Yeah. He took off and ran to a neighbor's house before he collapsed. And they called an ambulance and he was taken to the hospital and treated for skull fractures.
Oh, she really whacked him.
Yeah, she really hit him. No charges were brought against her at this time because she manipulated him into not pressing charge. She was on her sweetest behavior after that.
Right. I'm hormonal.
Yep. She was 20 at this time. So,
wow.
Yeah. 20-year-old Catherine gave birth to their child. She was a little girl named Melissa. Quickly after having her, Catherine tried to stab David with a broken beer bottle. I don't know why.
Just randomly?
That was just probably something minor. But she tried to stab him. So David was eventually like, this is too much, I'm out, and ran off to Queensland with his newest girlfriend.
That probably did not go well.
Catherine was so pissed, dude. Yeah, she didn't handle it well. She was so possessive and jealous. The next day, she was literally seen pushing her baby in a stroller, but violently throwing the stroller from side to side.
What?
Just trying to, in town. People were seeing, she was just wailing the stroller side to side.
Wow, okay.
Just, yeah. And flailing about. They said she looked like an actual, mad woman.
Just flaring her baby around.
Yeah. So people thought she was going to throw the stroller out into the road, so they called the police. Mm-hmm. When the police showed up and saw this, they decided to take her to St. Elmo's Hospital in Tamworth, which is a psych ward, where she would be admitted and treated with medication. After a couple weeks, she was released.
A couple weeks?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they kept her that long.
I'm surprised they took her.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
Especially back then.
Yes.
So I don't know if she thought David would be there waiting for her when she got out. Or she thought just magically he changed his mind. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't. He was still off with his new girlfriend. And she immediately went into another rage. She took their 12-week-old baby.
12-week-old baby.
Yeah. And placed her on railroad tracks, knowing that a train would be coming by soon, and then walked away. Literally a couple minutes before the train came by, a man that everyone called Old Ted, saw the baby and took her off the tracks. Old Ted. Isn't that precious?
Old Ted. But
save that little baby.
3-month-old baby.
Yeah, dude. She's going crazy. While this is happening, she went into town, stole an axe, and started swinging it around, threatening to kill people.
Ooh.
She's escalating quite fast. The police were called again, and she was taken to the same psych ward. She signed herself out the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Literally within 24 hours of her not being released, but signing herself out, she went to a neighbor's house and told her that her baby was ill. Yes, she still has her baby. I don't know how.
They just gave it back to her?
She still has her baby after all this is happening.
They just gave her baby back to her.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm surprised by that. Go ahead.
And yeah, she said she was ill and she needed a ride to the hospital. The neighbor was like, yes, of course. Like, obviously, your baby's sick. Like, let me just get ready. I guess she's the only person in town who didn't see her flinging her stroller about like it was...
Or hear about the tracks.
Yeah. So the woman got her children together and drove to Catherine's house to pick her and her baby up. Catherine saw all of the kids in the car and go, like, super pissed. Like, she didn't expect her to have...
Her children with her?
Whole family. I guess she didn't know that she had all those kids. Either way, she was like, yeah, we're going to need to thin this crowd down.
What?
And then she just slashed the face of one of the teenage children.
Wait, she what?
Slashed the face.
Like cut their face.
You guys can't see what I just did, but you heard the sound effect. So
you
that
did
was
have sound
probably
effect.
Weird.
She slashed a child's face.
Yeah, it was like her teenage child. She like cut her on the face with a knife.
Oh.
And then she demanded that they drive her to David's mother's house in Queensland. Like, straight up took him hostage.
So the whole thing was just to get to David?
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole thing. Like, her baby... I don't know if her baby was sick or not.
Can you imagine, too, like, this woman... Like, there was no cell phones or anything. Like, this just giant woman is, like, slashed your child's face and is, like... you
taking you...
taking
you're literally
hostage.
hostage. Yeah. How terrifying would that be? Especially with trying to keep all the kids calm.
And the brand new baby that I'm sure she is not taking care of.
She said she wanted to kill David's mom. Like, she told them that. Mm-hmm. She thought that, like, doing something to his mom would get his attention.
No, it probably would. I mean, it probably will.
On the way there, the family convinced Catherine that they needed to stop at the gas station. And she agreed. They also tried to get her to let one of the children go because he had severe asthma. Mm-hmm. That child called the police. I guess she agreed.
Okay.
That child called the police. When the police arrived, she was threatening to kill everyone. She had a knife. And they were able to get the knife away from her. And then, I died at this part, they attacked her with brooms.
What?
Just
Australia,
like
man.
All the cops just picked a broom up. I guess there were just like brooms
Did they have brooms? Were they at the store or did they have them in the back of the car?
They just were afraid to get... I don't know what happened. I just imagine. I'm like...
Was it county cleanup day?
I don't know what's happening, but they are going after her with brooms.
Okay.
Again, no charges were filed.
What?
But she was sent to a different psych ward.
That's the cure?
I guess. While she was at the psych ward, Catherine told the nurses that she had plans on killing the mechanic at the gas station because he fixed David's car and that made it possible for him to leave her.
Oh.
Yeah. She then told them that she planned on killing David and his mother when they arrived in Queensland.
I very much believe that.
Listen, when David heard about this, he decided that he was going to leave his now pregnant girlfriend that he left Catherine for, pick up his mother, and go pick Catherine up from the psych ward. She was released into their custody.
So it worked.
It worked.
It worked.
So, like, this is registering success in her mind. He then drove them as a family to Aberdeen to pick up baby Melissa, because she is not taken. Mm. David and his mother felt like they needed to support Catherine during this hard time.
Okay.
When they arrived in Aberdeen, Catherine's mother, Barbara, remember? Mm-hmm. The true angel she is, ran out and started to strangle David. Like, he was in the car and she was, like, reaching in the window to strangle him.
Why?
She said that David was ruining her daughter's life.
Oh.
When Catherine came outside, and while this is happening, David's mom is in the car too. So she's like screaming. Like, I saw her in an interview and she's just like the sweet old, looks like she would knit.
Yeah,
knitters. And she's like in the car crying. She was explaining the situation and like screaming. And then Catherine comes out and she sees like what her mom is doing. And she like grabbed her mom and straight up punched her mom in the face.
Oh, wow. Now, was her mom like a big person, or was her mom like I imagine her as like a little frail person compared to Catherine.
I don't know.
I imagine she was quite smaller than her.
So we have a mom reaching into a car, strangling this younger man, with that man's mom also in the car screaming, and then Catherine coming out and can you imagine just like looking out the window and seeing this happening in the street?
And then there's a baby screaming in the backseat as well. That is insane.
Like, what is
Especially
going on here?
Barbara's trying to defend Catherine. She just punched her in the face.
Yeah. This whole thing is like so
this whole family
toxic. Soon after this incident.
Did you say she had 4 relationships? We're still on the first one.
We're still on the first one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and it just gets worse. Soon after this incident, Catherine and David relocated to Queensland to get a fresh start.
With the pregnant girlfriend?
Oh, he left her.
He left her
to be
like
supportive to Catherine.
Okay, gotcha. Just checking.
Yep. David got a job as a truck driver, and Catherine got one at a slaughterhouse. There was an incident soon after they moved there. David's sister was at the house, and she heard their child crying nonstop in the bathroom. She went to check out the situation and was like super shocked. Catherine had the water turned like as hot as it would go, and she kept like putting her baby under the hot water, just like intentionally like burning her.
What?
Yeah. David's sister like came to him and was like, dude, your wife is burning your baby in the bathroom. Like, what is happening? And he said, please don't bring this up to her today because she will probably kill us both.
He was quite aware.
Oh yeah, he was scared. He was scared of her. All of them were scared of her. In 1979, David walked in on Catherine and another man.
Oh. Did not see that coming.
Yeah, she begged him for another chance, and he agreed.
On threat of death.
They again moved to have a fresh start. Catherine convinced David that they needed another baby.
That will fix it.
Like, it was going to help things.
That was going to fix it. Okay.
The next year, 24-year-old Catherine had another daughter, Natasha. After she had Natasha, she just woke up one morning and was like, yeah, I'm bored, and left David. Just after all of that. After he literally,
There's no struggle
up
anymore.
And left him.
I'm good.
She's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've done everything to you. It's been a good run.
Yep.
Yeah, we go just do whatever I say now. Probably.
So she moved in with her parents and then eventually rented her own place. She quickly met another man, 38-year-old miner named David Saunders. Another David.
Another David. Okay.
Her first 2 are named David. Her second 2 are named John.
Stop it.
I swear. Within a few months, him and his dingo puppy moved in with her. He did, however, keep his own apartment.
Okay.
Him having his own apartment really pissed her off. Like, her jealousy was strong with this one.
He thought it was like a bachelor pad or something.
Yeah. She wanted to know, like, why do you need your, like, what are you doing there? Like, what is happening? This caused a nonstop fighting. She would throw him out all the time. He would go back to his apartment and she would, like, beg him to come back. And he would. One day, she cut the throat of his dingo puppy in front of him just to show him what would happen if he ever cheated on her. I'm sorry, Catherine. What?
Did the dingo puppy live?
No.
Oh my god.
100% no. She was like using her slaughterhouse techniques. Killed his dog.
So she still has her boning knives.
She is still a certified boner.
That is so sad.
Yeah, dude. If anyone ever killed one of my like,
No.
I don't even know how I'd react, but it wouldn't be, let's
continue our relationship.
Yeah. It even gets worse.
Oh, stop it.
In an attempt to make it better,
she didn't buy another puppy for him.
Choose to have a baby.
Oh, it's a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was going to be another puppy.
No.
Okay, another baby.
So they had another daughter named Sarah. Not another. This is their first. Her. She had another daughter named Sarah.
Right. Okay.
This made David want to buy a house. Like, I guess when you like start a family, that's just
what you do. You buy a house.
Yeah. Apparently, she decorated the house with animal skins, skulls, and horns, which really isn't that weird. I feel like I have some of that in my, not animal skins, but
I'm
like
from the country, like it happens.
Yeah, like that's okay. But she also decorated with rusty animal traps, leather jackets, and pitchforks. Like, apparently the house was like full, like hoarder, like no free space, just like completely covered. Like she was hanging like pitchforks from the ceiling, like as like hanging them like as a decoration.
Oh, okay, that's getting a little weirder.
A little
weird. I was gonna say, like, I've seen people like put antiques on their walls like that.
Yeah, stuff. I don't think me too, and that's what I thought of. And I don't think it was like that. I think because one interview I watched literally said she had stuff hanging from her ceiling.
Okay,
so,
yeah, it's getting too much.
Yeah. There was an incident where David was late. You know how she is about her curfew.
She wants them on time.
Yep. And she was waiting on him in the house with a hot iron, like ironing clothes iron. She hit him over the face with it and then stabbed him in the stomach with a pair of scissors.
She had 2 weapons.
Yeah. So David came up with a plan to take a service leave from his job. And he told Katherine that he was going to stay with a friend, but really he went into hiding.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. She tried to find him, but no one was giving up his location. Like, people were starting to catch on. She was obviously infuriated. And she told their now 2-year-old daughter that her father was dead.
Oh.
He tried to return a few months later so he could see his daughter, but found out that when he left, she went to the police out of retaliation and said that he was abusive, and they granted her a restraining order.
Oh.
So, he's just trying to come back and see his child, and
she's already made like a backup plan with it.
While all this was happening, she met her new man, John Chillingworth.
Ooh.
Literally almost immediately they got pregnant. She's very fertile.
She's a very fertile woman. But he wasn't Chillingworth at the end.
She needs to be on birth control. Like, what'd you say?
But he wasn't Chillingworth at the end.
Cannot.
Sorry.
As a result,
she's on birth control, yes.
Katherine gave birth to her only son, Eric. Mm-hmm. This relationship was no different, extremely violent on both ends. Apparently, he was also physically abusive. And she ended up leaving him after 3 years. And he was like super upset. Like, he tried to follow her and get back with her.
Okay, so it reversed.
It reversed. And was devastated because he found out that she was having an affair with someone else already. His name was John Price.
Okay, another John.
There's another John. Everyone called him Pricey. So that's what I'm going to call him.
Why?
That was just his last name's Price. I guess they just
Pricey. Oh, okay.
Just Pricey.
It sounded fancy.
Yeah, very pricey.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Pricey.
At this time, they were both 38 years old. Pricey had an ex-wife and 3 kids of his own, which he adored. He was like supposed to be like the best dad ever.
Okay.
His 2 older daughters lived with him, and his youngest lived with his ex-wife. Pricey also worked in the coal mines. She definitely had like a type.
Yes.
Like, she liked the hardworking, manly men who like to drink and like drive big trucks and stuff.
Did they say that?
I don't know.
You just added big trucks.
I added the big trucks things in.
Big burly men.
Yeah. Pricey heard about Katherine's violent past, but I guess he thought it would be different this time. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He invited her to move in with him and his 2 daughters. It was wonderful at first, and his daughters loved her. They said that they never saw them arguing. Like, it seemed like a perfect relationship. Okay. She thought she definitely like found the one. Soon, they started noticing weird things. I was watching an interview with one of Pricey's daughters, and she said, like, one time she was riding in the car with Katherine, and she would swerve to hit a dog. And when she asked her, like, why are you doing that? She was like, oh, I don't like dogs. Just would make sure she went out of her way to hit them.
Right.
Yeah.
She liked to inflict pain.
Yeah. Quickly, their relationship started to fall into that same pattern, minus the pregnancy.
Good.
Thank God. She started to beat him, and people said that he would have scars from where she would stab him.
Oh my God.
Close to a year later, Katherine was pressuring Pricey to get married. Apparently, he told her he was only in it for the sex and she better just get used to it. So that was something that I did read a few times. These men would keep coming back because apparently she was like really good in bed.
Oh, okay.
So that was something that was happening.
Okay.
She got super mad and started to retaliate. She sat his daughters down and told them that Pricey wasn't their real father. Their mother had slept with someone else.
Oh, wow.
Pricey was starting to tell his friends that he wanted Katherine out of the house. Like, he was starting to realize, like, she's an actual psycho. Mm-hmm. So, she was, I guess, going through stuff one day and found his will. And she saw that he is leaving everything to his ex-wife and kids.
Yes.
And she was livid, dude. Like, she was so livid about this. She demanded that he give her $10,000. If he did this, she would leave.
Oh.
Pricey refused. So, she decided to take a video camera and record some items that he had stolen from work.
Oh.
Apparently, these were like super outdated first aid kits that they were going to throw away, like just straight up got them out of the trash type situation.
Yes.
And she sent that video to his boss and they fired him.
Really?
Yeah. After working there for 17 years, they fired him and he lost his pension and everything. Like, wow. It was like a huge deal.
She went after him.
Yeah. He kicked her out immediately, obviously. And everyone in town was like hearing like what she had done.
Happened?
Like, a few months later, he decided to get back with her.
Stop it.
His friends wouldn't even talk to him while they were together. Like, everyone was shocked. Like, I'm shocked right now. Like, what type of sorcery is happening? Like, why would you ever think that was
an okay idea?
But, like, when I watched the interviews with his daughters, they said, like, he just, like, genuinely loved everyone. Like, he didn't like to be mad at people. Like, he was, like, a big believer in, like,
forgiveness, but 17 years of pension is not.
And he probably didn't know that the ending was coming that happened, so.
Okay.
Nothing changed. They were still having violent fights. Pricey found a new job, and he went to work one day and showed his coworkers scars from where she had stabbed him. This was apparently like the first time he started to really talk about it with people. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if his coworkers convinced him or if he just like heard himself saying it out loud, but he decided that day that he needed to go to the courthouse and get a restraining order.
Mm-hmm. Finally.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they wouldn't have court for 3 weeks.
Why?
I don't know. I've never filed like a restraining order, but is it like an immediate thing here, or do you have to wait?
I mean, you have to wait for a court date.
That's what he was waiting on. The court date wasn't for 3 weeks.
I still feel like there would have been like things set up, especially if it would have been like a woman doing it against a man. There would have been something set up.
They may not have believed him.
They may not have.
I don't know. He told his coworkers that if he didn't show up for work, it was because she had killed him. His coworkers begged him not to go home that night, but he said he had to because of his kids. Yeah. He would rather her hurt him than his children.
Understandably.
Yeah. While all of this was going on, Katherine was like devising a plan. She went to a thrift store to buy lingerie. Gross. Katherine.
That is disgusting.
Get your shit together. And then went to her daughter Natasha's house. She was videotaping herself playing with her grandchildren and like talking to the camera, and like when people see it now, like know the situation, they said it was like her will type of thing, like the things she was saying. Mm-hmm. When Pricey arrived home, Katherine was not there, but she had sent his children to a sleepover at one of their friends' house.
Okay.
Late that evening, Katherine showed up at Pricey's house. He was asleep. She watched TV for a few minutes, then took a shower, put on her lingerie that she got at the thrift store.
Ew.
She woke him up with sex, and then they fell asleep.
Okay.
The next day, Pricey didn't show up to work.
Oh.
Obviously, his coworkers were like, okay, something's happened. Like,
He just said this.
yeah, literally, like, what's going on? His neighbor was also worried because his vehicle was still in the driveway, and they knew, like, he was supposed to be at work.
Mm-hmm.
His boss sent one of his coworkers to his house to check on him. The coworker and the neighbor were like banging on the door, ringing the doorbell, and there was no answer. So they called the police, and the police showed up and were able to get into the house. They immediately saw Katherine laying on the bed. She had taken a bunch of pills in an attempt to kill herself, but she was just asleep.
Oh, it was unsuccessful.
It was very much unsuccessful. Katherine, stop. They took her out on a stretcher, and before the detectives went in, the police warned them about what they were about to see. It was so bad that a couple police officers quit after this case and had to undergo like years of therapy.
What? Okay.
Katherine had stabbed Pricey 37 times with her butcher knives. According to evidence, he woke up, tried to turn on the light, and tried to escape, but Katherine chased him through the house. He did make it out of the front door, but either he went back inside on his own or she dragged him back in, where he ultimately bled out. She then skinned him and hung his skin from a meat hook on the back of the door in the living room, like on display. And apparently, like, she skinned him super precisely, like it was all in one piece. Like it was like a perfect, yeah, like she skinned him, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She then decapitated him and cooked parts of his body. She made 2 spots at the table for this meal that she was creating that consisted of human meat. She included baked potatoes, pumpkin, zucchini, cabbage, yellow squash, and gravy.
What? Like, Go ahead.
Beside these 2 spots were the name tags for his children. She planned on serving this meal to his daughters.
Oh, wow.
She planned on serving these girls their father for a meal.
If the police hadn't shown up.
There was also a note that she left, looking like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because she... It said...
Oh, yes, because you can't read or write.
I hope you guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because it's the best. Anyway, time got you back, Jonathan, who's Pricey's son, for raping my daughter. You, Beck, Pricey's daughter, for Ross, for little John. Now play with John's little dick.
Can you...
Katherine...
Are you going to re-say that? What it
So
actually
basically,
said?
she was accusing Jonathan, who I guess is Pricey's son, for raping her daughter.
Okay.
And I guess this was like the payback. I'm not sure. It's really hard to decipher this code, but
that was...
the allegation, they did look into that, and the allegations of rape turned out to be false.
Okay.
And apparently after the murder, she went to the next town and withdrew $1,000 from Pricey's card at the ATM.
Why don't they go very far?
I don't know.
Just across town.
Katherine was taken to the hospital, and when she woke up, she said she had no memory of this. She did admit to having stabbed him 6 months earlier, but she said it was on accident. And I watched her because she was in like the interrogation room. It's embarrassing to watch, dude. She said that she held the knife up and he was closer than she thought. She had just gotten new glasses, so her eyesight wasn't the best. Whoopsie.
Oops.
Katherine initially tried to plead to manslaughter, but the judge immediately rejected that.
How are you going to manslaughter that?
I don't know. In February 2001, she was arraigned on murder charges in which she pled not guilty.
2001.
Yeah.
I keep feeling like this is a really old story.
Yeah,
but it's
because she was born, like, she was, getting older during this. In October 2001, her trial began. During the trial, the judge gave the jury the option to leave and take a break because the evidence was so horrific. 5 of the jury members took him up on that.
I can imagine skinning him alive.
Yeah. And some said that, like, his skin looked like a wetsuit. Like, it was hard to, like, understand what they were looking at because it didn't look like a human. But there was still, like, hair and, like, eye socket. Like, so it was a human, but it was hard to comprehend it at first.
Right.
There was a part in the police evidence video where they walk over to the stove and you can see, like, an investigator's hand take the lid off of a pot that's on the stove, and inside of the pot was Pricey's head. And his eyes were open, so it looked like he was looking at the camera.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The lead investigator said that he suffered a nervous breakdown after this because of this case.
I mean, can you imagine just walking in and you open up a pot and there's a man's head in it?
Yeah, and it was probably, like, so much more, too, that they didn't really...
release.
Yeah. Katherine was examined by multiple psychiatrists during this process. It was said that this was not the result of any type of mental illness. She had mental illness, but this was not
the cause of it.
Yeah. One thing that supported that was because she went to the ATM and withdrew money after the murder. So she knew what was going on.
What she was actually doing.
Yeah. She also told her brother that she was going to kill Pricey and get away with it because she was going to make it look like she was crazy.
Successful, but unsuccessful.
Her brother ended up making a statement against her. Quickly after the trial started, Katherine changed her plea to guilty. The judge had another psychiatrist talk to her to make sure she understood what pleading guilty meant. Her team was, like, prepared to defend her. They were going to use the claims of amnesia and disassociation, which were supported by psychiatrists, but she was not deemed insane. There was never a reason as to why she randomly decided to plead guilty, like, out of nowhere. Even though she did this, she still says that she is innocent. During the sentencing, Katherine's lawyers requested that she be excused during the graphic details part because it is too much for her to handle.
Stop it.
The judge was like, I'm sorry, bitch, no.
No, everyone else has to witness this.
When they were explaining the skinning and decapitation, she became hysterical and had to be sedated. The judge says that because of the nature of her crime and her lack of remorse, she needs the strongest of sentences. So he sentenced her to life without parole, and he literally wrote on her papers never to be released. This is the first time in Australian history that a female was given this sentence.
Really?
In 2006, Katherine appealed the sentence, saying that it was far too severe for the killing.
Oh, really?
Katherine.
She tried to serve it.
Katherine. Stop.
She really is disassociating.
Yeah. That was dismissed, obviously. Katherine Knight is currently still in prison at Silverwater Women's Correctional Center in Sydney, Australia. She is known as Nana to the other inmates.
Nana?
She is seen as a leader to others who are incarcerated with her. She said that she has now found religion and she likes to paint and knit.
She turned into a knitter.
She's a knitter.
No. Those are
She doesn't deserve to knit.
That is false knitting.
You are a boner, Katherine.
You are a boner.
She apparently is, like, a really good artist, and she sells her art and raises money for the prison.
For the prison?
That's what it says, yeah. I did see another one, too, where she said she's happy where she feels safe now. Like, I guess she likes being in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can see. I mean, she's got all these people that call her Nana.
Yeah. And she also doesn't put her name on any of the artwork because she doesn't want people buying her art and, like, hanging it on their wall, like, thinking it's cool that she killed people.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They do keep a close eye on her. She's never allowed around knives, and she's not allowed to have a cellmate in case she decides to kill again, which I kind of see as a privilege.
Yeah.
Like, they probably all want to have their own room.
Right?
Apparently, the job that she has in prison is the most tedious. She makes headphones, and she is said to be the hardest worker there.
I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. She is known as the peacemaker. She helps the other women sort out their problems before it gets too crazy.
Oh.
The COs there say that she literally has never been in any trouble there because she had respect immediately because of her crimes.
What?
Not one person has ever messed with her. She's definitely a pod boss.
She sure is. Maybe that's why she pled guilty. She's like, okay, it's all right in here.
Yeah. Maybe. That makes sense. And that's the story of Katherine Knight.
Wow.
She's still living it up right now in prison. Making artwork and knitting.
I wonder if we can find it. I kind of want to see just what she does.
I do too. I wanted to see her artwork, but I felt like I would want this. If I bought it, I would want her signature.
Yeah, exactly what she just said.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one was crazy. The other one I started was about like a recent serial killer, but I think I'm gonna do him next.
Okay.
Because I got distracted with her.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That was crazy.
So, old Nana is
She's still living it up.
as a boner.
As a boner. In a different type of awful place.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have anyone you want us to cover, let us know. murderwordspodcast@gmail.com. Murderwords.com. We also put our episodes on there. And we're on Facebook and Instagram. Are you excited about
I did,
that?
I guess. Yeah, well, it is exciting.
All right, so we will talk to you guys next week. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.